What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Dungeon Master Experience. In this video, we're diving into the fantastic Dungeon Master Experience articles by Chris Perkins, one of the lead designers of Dungeons & Dragons. We'll explore his invaluable insights and advice to enhance your skills as a Dungeon Master and create unforgettable D&D experiences for your players. So let's get right into today's article. This one we're going to read is called, I Don't Know What It Means, But I Like It. All right, cool. So this one was written March 3rd of 2011. Here it begins. Monday night, the campaign has taken a dark turn. Having just attacked an island base belonging to their hated enemy, Sea King Sinistrago, the adventurers return to their ship with the spoils of victory. Yet upon their return, they find the ship adrift, its crew gone. A thorough exploration suggests that the crew has been abducted. A strange sending stone discovered in the captain's cabin confirms their fears. Through this device, the heroes are contacted by another campaign villain who's been shadowing their vessel, waiting to strike. He offers the heroes a trade, their missing crew in exchange for a powerful relic the heroes have sworn to protect, an item which the villain desires above all and which, in the wrong hands, could cause great calamity. The question is, will the heroes agree to this exchange, knowing that surrendering the item will have serious repercussions? An intriguing dilemma. Okay, so that's a cool start. They have to make a moral quandary. Let's continue on. But that is not the focus of this particular article. You see here, there's also a B story unfolding at the same time concerning Bruce Cordell's character, a tiefling star-packed warlock named Melek. Several sessions ago, a powerful star entity known as Kafon branded him with a strange tattoo, that of a toothy black maw, slowly growing larger and larger over the course of the campaign. And in this most recent session, Melek received a gift from yet another star entity called Nihil, who imprinted upon Melek's mind a powerful ritual allowing him to summon star-spawned serpents, inspired by the Monster Manual 3's Serpents of Nihil, page 186. And keep in mind, this is all 4th edition stuff, so, kind of ancient history at this point, but the lessons and the information that he puts in these articles is very, very valuable. Even in any edition or any game, it doesn't even really matter. But let's continue on. Bruce doesn't understand why his character is receiving gifts from these star powers or what he's supposed to do with them. And frankly, neither do I. Which brings us to the true subject of this article. A good campaign, like a good stew, has many ingredients. Some ingredients add flavor to the campaign, and others give it texture. Sometimes the ingredients are so subtle as to go unnoticed, and that's fine. Not everything you throw into the campaign is going to make a splash. The players will pick up on some elements, while others are quickly forgotten. Campaign building is an art, not a science. It all starts with ideas. I get ideas for my campaign all the time. And the first question that comes to my mind once I get an idea is, how can I fit this into the campaign? The answer is always the same. I just throw it in the pot and see what happens. Which brings us back to the title of this article, which is, I don't know what it means, but I like it. Whenever I get a cool idea that I think is worth exploring in my campaign, I throw it into the mix, provided I can think of at least one character in the party whose story arc would benefit from its inclusion. By benefit, I don't mean to suggest that the character necessarily becomes more powerful as a result. The ultimate goal is to add stuff to the campaign that makes the characters and their situations more interesting and fun to play. It's also a great way to give your campaign extra layers of depth. Let's consider Melek's situation. Many months ago, I had an idea based on the fairly common experience of someone waking up one morning to discover he or she had a tattoo, but no memory of how it got there. If that hasn't happened to you personally, it's probably happened to someone you know. Just ask Alias from the Curse of the Azure Bond. This was an idea I wanted to include in my game. At the time, Bruce's character was being overshadowed by the story arcs of other characters, and I wanted to give Bruce something to sink his teeth into while waiting for some of these other arcs to play out. So without a lot of forethought, I gave Melek a magical tattoo that appeared out of nowhere. Here's the actual tattoo written up as a magic item. So here we go. Ooh, check it out. Tattoo of the Horizon Star, level 20. The mark of Kafon, the Horizon Star, resembles a toothy maw that widens and grows as the wearer draws closer to his doom. So it says level 20. 125,000 gold pieces. It's a wondrous item. Requirement, you must have the Fate of the Void Pact boon, and its property is when you spend an action point to take an extra action, all enemies in a close burst 5 centered on you take 10 radiant damage and are blinded until the end of your next turn. And the curse is when you fail a death save, you take damage equal to your level. So to me, it looks like that his tattoo can basically like explode out like in a starburst type situation, doing AE damage, which is pretty legit, but I mean, it's a level 20 item. So in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. So there's 30 levels in D&D 4th edition, and there's 20 in 5th edition. So that would be around the equivalent of what, 13th level or something like that. So, you know, pretty powerful. The curse is a nice touch, don't you think? It keeps the tattoo from being a simple power-up. It also conveys the flavor of the idea that an evil star power gives Melek a gift he can't refuse. At the time, I had no clue what the tattoo meant or how it would factor into the campaign. I included it simply because I liked the idea. Several weeks later, I was thinking about one of my major campaign villains, an Eladrin Star-Pact warlock hell-bent on releasing a bunch of evil star entities from their celestial prisons. It occurred to me that these same evil powers might be secretly courting Bruce's character, also a Star-Pact warlock. Maybe they think he's destined for greatness. Maybe the gifts are a form of temptation. Maybe the star powers plan to devour my villain and groom Bruce's character as his replacement. At this point in the campaign, I'm still not exactly sure how it will all play out. A lot of it depends on Bruce and what happens to his character in the coming months. But for now, the only thing I know for sure is that evil star powers have their eye on Melek, and that's enough to keep Bruce both excited and terrified. And now for the lessons learned. Man, I just gotta say, Chris Perkins' games sound just incredibly awesome. Imagine having your character wake up with a tattoo that could do a giant AE starburst, but it had a pretty bad curse to go along with it. And, you know, in your mind as a player, you're thinking the dungeon, especially if your dungeon master is Chris Perkins, you're going to think that he has all this planned out and this, that, and the other. But I mean, behind the screen, behind the man behind the curtain, you know, he's saying in this article, he doesn't even know really what the point of it is or what's going to happen. He just knows it's something to latch onto, and eventually he'll find a way to hook it in, which I think is, it's really cool. And honestly, I think a lot of us do this kind of naturally when we're ad-libbing and improvising in our D&D games. But anyway, let's go on to Chris Perkins' lessons learned. As the Dungeon Master, your biggest challenges are keeping the players immersed in the story of your campaign and making the campaign world a place the players like to visit each week after week, or however often you meet. It's also your job to surprise and delight them. One ironclad way to accomplish these admirable goals is to give players stuff to think about, and by extension, stuff for their characters to think about. If you have an idea that fascinates you, don't wait for the right opportunity to include it. Just include it, and let time and your players sort it out. If the idea ends up going nowhere, the players probably won't care or even notice. But if it ends up going somewhere, your players will look upon you as a storytelling genius. Here are the important takeaways. Don't squirrel away your ideas. Use them, even if you're not sure how to get the most out of them. And ultimately, it's the players who decide what flies and what doesn't in your campaign. So look for a way to connect your cool idea to one or more of the characters, preferably in a way that the players might enjoy. Until the next encounter. So yeah, that was a very cool article, and it actually inspires me to take more notes in my spare time, and maybe even like leave a voice note to myself when I'm sitting at a stoplight and, you know, brainstorming and these kind of things. You think of an idea, and I tell you, a lot of times you think of an idea, and then if you don't write it down or you don't do something with it, man, it is gone. So it's a good idea to capture these ideas, include them in the game, man. That's what he's saying, is even if there's no overarching grand thing of this, put it in there, the player latches onto it, and here's what I'll say. Listen to the players talk about it as they brainstorm about it and discuss, like, oh, what does this mean? What does that mean? They're going to be just talking right in front of you. And what you can do is you can take what they're saying and modify it just a little bit so they're not exactly correct. And you'll have a pretty good thing to where it meets their expectations, but it also surprises them a little bit. That'd be my advice. But anyway, thanks for watching to the end of the video. If you click the like button, that tells me that's how many people like watched the video and liked it. So as long as there's like a few people doing that, I'm going to keep doing this series. Yeah, until next time, have fun. Later.